Sugar Me by Lynsey de Paul.
Yeah.
Brilliant track, released 1972. And I didn't know this, first woman to win an Ivor Novello for songwriting.
Yeah. I think she was essentially Lynsey de Paul. I never met her. When did I get into this? When I was about 11 or something. I think she wrote songs for other people. Storm in a Teacup, she wrote that. That was a massive hit for the Fortunes. But her version's incredible, and she wrote it. I think she was like a songwriter for hire.
Didn't she write for Jack Wilde as well? Artful Dodger, which is just bizarre.
And she did really well. She wrote for a lot of people. I think the woman's sadly dead now. But that's just a great track. I mean, the 70s, why I chose these tracks, Alice, was that the glam thing before punk and then the punk thing up to like 1980 or whatever, right? That to me, that's who I am. That's my musical kind of heritage, or my DNA, or whatever you want to call it. And, so I don't look on these tracks the way I would look on later tracks when I might have been involved with the bands and things like that.
Yeah.
This is just me. It's really easy for me to talk about that thing.
With this track, I mean, the mood on it straight away, I sort of thought there's kind of like almost a disco-y feel to it, do you think?
There is, yeah. Before disco.
Yeah. And certainly I think...
Because she was a great writer, I mean, it's just a great song.
And it's got a sort of Monkberry Moon Delight, McCartney plod to it as well. Yeah. Certainly the sort of stuff he was writing at that time. And I know Nancy Sinatra covered it, and you can definitely hear why.
Did Nancy Sinatra cover Sugar Me?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I mean, it's definitely her sort of vibe, though, isn't it?
I didn't know that she'd done that, though.
Oh no, it's a brilliant version.
Yeah.
And in terms of what it's about, I mean, it's got to be a drug reference. No,
God, I have to hear that Nancy Sinatra version. That's interesting. You're the first person that's ever told me that.
Well,
didn't know.
There we go. I mean, we should be playing that one now, shouldn't we?
Maybe you should. But yeah, no, that's just a great song. I mean, the 70s was incredible for songwriters, and it's just an incredible time.
Yeah.
I didn't have a great 70s. I did in some ways with music and punk, but I didn't have a great time as a human being in the 70s. And then the 80s was tough, although I enjoyed it. And in the 90s, I did start having an incredible time.
So you would have been listening to this when you were about 12 then, is that right?
I think I was 11 when that came out. And I got into music when I was about 10.
Right. So at the time were you kind of thinking, because I heard it and I was picking up a sort of drug reference to it.
No, I don't think it is. I think she's a professional songwriter.
Right.
And I think that these were uncynical times. When somebody was singing Sugar Me, she was probably talking about love. I mean, if you're somebody singing about Sugar Me in the 90s, I mean, God knows what they're actually trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a lot of different things, but it's definitely not innocent, do you know what I mean?